Say hi, everybody. All right. Okay, here we go. Let me get this on there.
Just turn this on and off as I need it. Seriously. Now you're off.
Okay. Oh, shoot.
Recorded live.
GC Community Chat, show number 203.
Good evening. This is Gary Rossio of the San Diego Veterans Coalition. You're listening to GC Community Chat. And now here's your host and my good friend, Mr. Kerry Parton. Kerry, take it away.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to GC Community Chat. I'm your host, Kerry, and joining me tonight is Wayne County Commissioner Richard LeBlanc, Dr. Tom Iwinski, and Derek Parton. This show is dedicated to you, the residents and businesses of Garden City, as well as the surrounding communities. Remember, we're working hard to promote our community and yours.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back for another episode of GC Community Chat. It's Thursday, June 12th, 2014, and yes, this is show number 203. Remember, no one is more committed to the businesses and residents than GC Community Chat. If you would like to promote your business or your organization or just give a shout out to your community, then GC Community Chat is here for you. We are all about promoting our community and yours. Okay, first, we have to give a big shout out, Richard, to our good friend Tony, owner of GC Community Chat right here in Garden City. It is his birthday today. So from GC Community Chat, happy birthday, Tony.
Happy birthday, Tony.
And many more. See you soon. All right, let me introduce my co-host for tonight, feeling much better, we hope. Our very own Wayne County Commissioner, Richard LeBlanc. How you doing, Richard?
Better.
Are you doing much better?
I'm better. Not at 100% yet.
Okay, you were 60% last week.
Is that what it was, 60?
Yeah.
I'll give myself 76 today.
All right, well, you're getting there.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm three-quarter.
Three-quarter of the way. Okay, well,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Glad you're here. And,
Not contagious, though, I might add.
yeah.
I actually went to the doctor.
You know, Cheryl actually had what you had,
Yeah.
and I don't know how she got it. You want to explain that?
Not right now, I don't.
All right, let's move on. And our resident weatherman, who will have the important forecast for Father's Day, Mr. Dr. Tom Iwinski. Tom, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, guys. How are you guys doing?
We're doing fantastic. Richard's here, and he's feeling better. So that's a plus.
76%.
Hey, if you want to join the conversation tonight, just head over to TalkShoe.com and search for call ID 82757. That takes you right to our main show page. Once you're there, just click on the large join in button and sign in as a guest or create a free account. And that will take you right to our chat room where you can listen, type in your questions and comments at the bottom of the page, and find our phone number and show ID there as well. Now, to call in, the number is 1-724-444-7444, and you'll enter the call ID 82757 followed by the pound sign when you're prompted. All you have to do is follow the prompts, and you'll be all set. Now, some of you may have to try calling in more than once due to the heavy traffic, and we apologize in advance. Keep trying, and we hope to talk to you soon. You can always text your questions or comments to us at 734-788-9319. Okay, we hope you've been enjoying our new segment we started a couple weeks ago called Gardening in 2 Minutes with Joey and Holly Baird from Wisconsin, who do several gardening videos on YouTube, and also have a digital magazine which you can find on their website at www.thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com. We're getting some good positive feedback from our listeners, so here with their next installment is Joey and Holly Baird and Gardening in 2 Minutes.
This is Gardening in 2 Minutes. When it comes to urban gardening, every inch is valuable. There's several different methods that you can take and utilize every square feet that you have available to grow in.
One of them is trellising.
That's right. And another one is intercropping. Intercropping is the practice of planting crops, two of them, in the same spot. We'll explain.
So if you have something like potatoes that you mound up or you plant in rows, it's going to be a little while in the beginning of the summer before your potatoes start to sprout. So you can take something like radishes, which only take about a month, and put them in between the rows of the potatoes.
Another option could be if you're growing Brussels sprouts, which takes a great amount of time. In the center between the rows, you could plant something like spinach, which takes about 45 to 50 days. The key to any one of these examples is you want to plant a fast-growing crop in with that main slow-growing crop. Another one can be...
You can plant something like corn within your lettuce bed. Lettuce is a cool other crop, and corn takes a long time to grow. So once you're getting close to your lettuce being done, you can plant your corn, and that way you can share the space.
Yes, you want that corn to be grown in a block area, but that would be very, very productive. Another one would be if you have a tall trellis that is in the shape of a triangle where it points to the top, and you have plants growing on either side, and you have a dead space in the center.
Then you can put something like broccoli, cauliflower, or you can even do an herb bed in there as well.
Herbs would be beneficial because they take less amount of sunlight. Another thing you might want to consider is the possibility of growing lettuce in the early portion of the season in where you're going to put your tomato plants. For the same reason, the lettuce will be done at about the time that tomatoes will start going in the ground.
Another good idea is doing something like the Three Sisters method, which is kind of like an intercropping of a classic variety, a traditional variety.
For more information on intercropping, our weekly video productions, as well as our free downloadable quarterly magazines, you can find all that information at
the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com.
For Gardening in 2 Minutes, I'm Joy Baird.
And I'm Holly Baird.
All right.
No more Brussels sprouts.
Thank you, Joey and Holly. Hey, whose kid is that? I hear somebody's kid in the background. Hello? Don't want to say? Okay. Hey, we have another great show for you tonight. Joining us in just a few minutes from the Wayne Metropolitan Community Action Agency will be Mr. Louis Piszker, CEO. And also joining him will be Miss Mia Cupp, Director of Development and Communications. I know, Richard, you've had a lot of involvement with them.
I have. I'm a member of the board.
Very good.
And I've had the pleasure of being around the things that they've done for, I don't know, a dozen years maybe.
Cool. Well, we'll get into that shortly. Also, Richard, I think you have a few items of interest you want to share with us a little later that we didn't get to last week, correct?
Only if asked.
Well, I will ask you
Okay.
about that extra money that the county found.
There's
remember?
no such thing as extra money.
Yeah, okay. And we'll also mention a bunch of events going on this week. Boy, it's a busy week here in Garden City's weekend, so we hope you'll be able to stick around and join us here tonight. Okay, before we get to Tom, I just want to mention a very important event that will be coming up for all veterans, and that is going to be put on by Diane Webb, our friend Diane Webb, Wayne County Commissioner. It's going to be Tuesday, June 17th, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Doors open at 4:30. It is the third annual Veterans, Families, and Caretakers event. It's going to be held at the VFW Post 7546 at 6828 Waverly in Dearborn Heights. They're going to have over 30 government and nonprofit veterans agencies there to help you and your families. Now, one of the big draws over there, Richard, is the Veterans Photo ID card. Very popular.
Yes. Yeah, I've attended Diane's event in the past. Very well attended.
Very well.
It's going to be maximum capacity.
Yep. If you guys are interested in the Veterans ID card, they ask you to bring your driver's license and a copy of your DD-214. Now, this Veterans card will replace your DD-214, so you won't have to carry a copy of that around. They're going to have light food and refreshments going to be served. Prizes will be raffled, and the event is totally free. So if you're a veteran, get over there. It's this is for you guys. You guys earned it, so get your family over there with you too. All right, remember our shows are always recorded, and they are uploaded to our main show page over on TalkShoe.com. Just remember to search for show ID 82757, and then all 203 shows will be over there for you to check out at your convenience. And then, as always, we will continue to upload our latest show to our Facebook page at facebook.com/GCChat. And for those of you that would like to put a face with the voice, we are videotaping the show, and that can be found over on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/community chat show.
Wait.
Did you know that?
Everything that we're doing is being recorded?
Yes, it is. And are you going to be embarrassed? No. Yeah, absolutely. So no matter what, we have you covered. You won't miss a thing, and we thank you all for listening and your support. All right, let's get a brief check of the weather from Doppler Tom. Then we'll introduce our guests for tonight.
Okay, let's do a check on weather with Doppler Tom. Let's see what he has in store for the rest of this week and the weekend coming up. Tom, take it away.
All right, Tom, how's Father's Day looking?
It's looking pretty good out there, so we'll
Good.
get into those details in just a moment. But for the rest of tonight out there, all this we've been seeing some on and off rain moving through, a little mild. Not too bad out there, but we'll see probably a little bit more rain as we head throughout the overnight hours. Not too heavy rain, but again, like this afternoon, we see some pop-up showers and some good heavy downpours, and then they move out pretty fast. We'll probably see that as we get into the overnight hours as the cold front moves through. And behind this front, it's going to be pretty cool tomorrow. We're probably going to be in the low 70s for high temperatures. That's going to be a nice change if you are getting sick of this muggy weather out there. So that's going to be nice, a refreshing day out there. Mixed up clouds outside as those clouds have a little bit of a struggle getting out, so it'll take some time. But as we get into Friday night, those clouds will really be decreasing out there, and we'll see a full moon out there. It's pretty rare to get a full moon on Friday the 13th, so it's kind of spooky if you think about it. But I just wanted to briefly mention that. And as we get into the weekend, it looks like it's going to be a pretty great weekend out there, especially for all the dads out there on Sunday. A lot of sunshine, not a whole lot of clouds to talk about, and temperatures aren't going to be too bad as either. On Saturday, we'll be again in the low to mid 70s, and as we get to Sunday, low 80s. So a really great weekend on tap. And enjoy it while it lasts, because next week it looks like the pattern's going to shift a little bit. We're going to get a little bit more warmer, a little bit more muggier, and a little bit more wetter as well. Temperatures all next week are probably going to be in the low to mid 80s. And with that, all that instability and hot mugginess, we're going to just see some rain and some storms at times all of next week. It's going to be an on and off rain pattern. It's not going to be on all day rain as we get into next week. But as the temperatures increase, we'll get that instability, and we'll definitely probably see some rain and storms next week. So bring that umbrella as you go out in the morning hours of all of next week. I see every single day there's a chance of rain. So with all that heat and humidity, there's that chance of rain. And last night, we actually had a tornado. It's pretty unusual. But yeah, we had a tornado well north of our area. It was southwest of Saginaw. And it was around the city of St. Charles. And it was a brief tornado. It was on the ground for about 10 to 15 minutes. It was an EF1 tornado. And winds were 90 to 100 miles per hour. And it caused a lot of trees to get some damage to roofs and structural. It wasn't too bad, but it was a little damage. And the reason why this tornado occurred, we really weren't expecting any severe weather. It was just a potent little thunder shower that developed. And what happened was there was a lake breeze that came off Saginaw Bay, and it interacted with that storm. And that caused the storm to have a change with wind with height. And that caused the storm to rotate. And that's the brief meteorological explanation of it. I don't want to get into details. And that caused a brief little spin of a tornado. So you always have to be alert for severe weather, because as we're getting into June and into summertime, this is when our severe weather season really kicks in. So you always have to be on top of it, because that one developed pretty fast and anticipated pretty fast. So that's pretty much what's been going on all across the United States out there. Severe weather has been the biggest story all across the United States, across the plains and across the southern United States as well. That has been the biggest story out there, and that's going to continue as we head into the next few days. And the last big weather story going on across the United States is the hurricane season is ongoing. We don't see any immediate hurricanes for the Atlantic. That's the good news. But there's a pretty big hurricane out in the Eastern Pacific. Hurricane Christine is on out there. Well, it's not going to affect any land. It's well off the coast of Mexico, and it's really developed overnight and became a very major hurricane. It almost hit a Category 5 strength. But it's going to start weakening and move into colder waters and not really affect any land. But it is worth mentioning because it's a heck of a storm out there if you're on a boat. But should avoid that at all costs. But that's pretty much the weather out there. Enjoy the weekend because it's going to be pretty nice out there. And my website is still under construction, and I will re-release it on the first day of summer. It'll be a much easier website if you have a mobile device. You can look at the website like that. You can go on in and look at it much easier. So I'll release that on the first day of summer, and look forward to that. That's pretty much the weather across our area in the United States, and we'll have a little bit of another update a little bit later next week. So talk to you then.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it. All right, at this time, I'd like to introduce our special guests. They are both from the Wayne Metropolitan Community Action Agency. He is the CEO, and she is the Director of Development and Communications, Mr. Louis Piszker and Miss Mia Cupp. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
It was a struggle. He didn't want to have you here. I insisted.
Thank you, Commissioner.
You're welcome.
Hey, for those that are not familiar with the Wayne Metropolitan Community Action Agency, can either of you explain what it is and how it came about?
Sure, I can start off. Well, first, Carrie, thanks for having us on the show, and Commissioner, thanks for inviting us also. And I'd also like to say that the studio that I'm in is actually really cool.
Thank you.
And I'm having fun, and I haven't really even started to say anything meaningful yet. So
well, we appreciate it.
So hopefully I can answer that question for all of your listeners. Wayne Metro Community Action Agency is a community action agency as stated in its name. Community action was part of Lyndon Johnson's Great War on Poverty and Great Society programs of the 60s. Mm-hmm. We are part of the Economic Opportunity Act of 1964. So this year, community action across the country is celebrating a 50-year birthday. Wow. So we have been fighting the war on poverty for the last 50 years, and that says something about the current state of our country and the current state of people in need that we're still at it. Mm-hmm. Community action is local programming that meets and fits the needs of a community in which to develop anti-poverty programs that help people rise up and become self-sufficient.
Okay.
And that's pretty much what the basis of community action is. Community action agencies are unique because they're governed locally. We have a tripartite board structure. Mm-hmm. So every stakeholder in the community is part of community action and actually governs our organization. So, for example, a third of our board, mandated by law and mandated by the Act, has to be elected officials, such as Commissioner LeBlanc currently sits on our board. Okay. A third of the board are community leaders, mainly from the business sector. Mm-hmm. And then what's unique about community action is a third of our board are actually consumers or community activists that provide services or use services to provide feedback to the other two sectors in which the program effectively to the needs of the community in which we serve.
So that's cool. You have a cross-cut of just about everybody then involved.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool. It works. And for the last 50 years, we've experienced bipartisan support. We are predominantly a federally funded organization. Okay. For the last 20 years, and I've been with the agency since 1994. I've been leading it for the past 7. Mm-hmm. We've really done an exceptional job in Wayne County. That's been our main service area for the last 20 years. And then this past year, we've been servicing the city of Detroit also. So we've been the community action agency for the entire Wayne County this past year.
Okay, just this past year you did. Okay, so what communities are impacted by the agency then?
Pretty much all the 43 communities in Wayne County currently. Okay. And so what we're doing in Wayne County is we pretty much program in 5 basic areas. We have basic needs or emergency services, such as emergency rent or utility assistance.
Right, so how do you qualify for that? You can explain that too, right? The qualifications.
Yeah, it's an anti-poverty program. So the main qualifications for funding is about 125% of the poverty level. So if you're single, it's about $14,000 a year.
Okay, so you go by income then.
Yeah, everything is income based. Right. Everything is income. Pretty much predominantly everything is income based.
Right, okay. Richard, got a question?
No, I'm willing to continue listening. I see this stuff. I will offer an observation, and that is that as a member of the board, I now have an additional perspective to view because, excuse me, my involvement previous to being a member of the board was as an observer, as a champion, as one who would salute what's going on and help to recognize recipients of honor. Mm-hmm. And so now I get to see a part of the working structure. And I think that it was that third element that Louis mentioned that is, for me, it's the most, what's the coolest? Because the folks that actually provide the services and or receive the services and, you know, their play within all of this and within the conversations and with the direction that the agency will go or is going is impactful. I mean, it's just very cool. And we were talking earlier, Mia, that there really hardly is a middle class anymore, isn't there? You're either poor or you're rich, isn't it? I mean, it's really phasing the middle class out.
It really is. Unfortunately, the middle class is decreasing. Mm-hmm. There's the side of our area population that is the very wealthy, and then there are the very poor. Mm-hmm. And the folks that we are currently serving are right in the middle of that. You know, the economy has taken a hard hit. Yeah, a hard toll mm-hmm. on our middle class. And so we are seeing and continue to see two-income households who they're unable to meet their daily basic needs. Mm-hmm. And, you know, for folks to understand what that means, it's choosing between, do I feed my family or do I pay my water bill? Do I buy my children school clothes that will, you know, help them kind of fit in with their peers, or do I pay my utility bills on time? Or like seniors. I mean, you have your senior citizens too. Absolutely. I mean, do you eat or do you get medicine? You know, right. That's sad. It's very sad. And that's where you guys come in, I would imagine, where you can help these folks out. Yes, that is kind of where we come in. Wayne Metro, like we've like Louis kind of discussed, prior to May 1st of 2013, we were the Out County Community Action Agency. Mm-hmm. There are 42 communities in Out County, and that's from Van Buren Township to Taylor to Garden City to Dearborn, and we have created best-in-class programs in those municipalities, mm-hmm. Meeting the needs of those individuals. We have been asked to kind of step up and bring some of those learnings and programs and services into the city of Detroit. We know there's a huge need there. But, you know, to think about what middle class looks like today, it's very, very different than what it looked like 10, 15, 20 years ago. Right. Absolutely. Just that short ago. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's
what was interesting, we were in a meeting yesterday and talking about this topic, mm-hmm. and we had a staff member come up with just a different analogy of what middle class looks like and what it looked like maybe 25 or 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. And you look at it, and it now looks like a barbell. Yeah. Where you have one heavy side, which is the wealthy, mm-hmm. and you have another big heavy side, which is the poor, and that thin strip in the middle that you grip
that's a good way to look at it.
Is now the new middle class.
Yeah.
And what we're seeing also at the agency, and people have a stereotypical view of poverty, but we're seeing much more situational poverty than generational poverty mm-hmm. at the agency in all of Wayne County, mm-hmm. where you have people losing their jobs or they're working and they lost their job and they're working and they're making about 50% of what they made.
Yeah, exactly.
And they get behind
and benefits.
No benefits, and they get behind on their bills. And the next thing you know, they're knocking on our door asking for assistance.
Yeah, you know, no benefits, no health insurance. I mean, can you guys help out with that too, or how's that work?
Well, you know, one of the main things that we have been focused on is the Affordable Care Act.
Okay, yeah.
And you know.
And how do you view that? I mean,
for me personally, as a single mother of 3, had I not, you know, being a single mother and understanding what it takes to run a household. Thankfully, I'm gainfully employed. I work for an organization who is an advocate for affordable care for working families.
Okay.
But, put myself in a situation where I didn't have that.
Yeah.
20% of my income going toward health care for my family. I mean, that could kind of change everything.
It's a big chunk.
Absolutely. So when we think about what this is meaning for the probably the masses, I mean, most of us find ourselves in that middle class kind of category. How having the information, having the accessibility to be able to make informed decisions on where we're at in terms of my children's age, my age, do we have any pre kind of conditions, having someone there who has the knowledge to walk you through the system. It's complex. You kind of land on that landing page for the Affordable Care Act and you're like, where do I go from here?
Yeah.
One of our jobs is to kind of walk people through and help them to understand these very complex systems.
Yeah.
And when we
now this is no cost to them, right?
There is no cost. There is no cost.
Okay.
But when you think about the sheer numbers of folks that we are receiving phone calls from June 1st to April 30th of this year, we received 53,000 calls from Wayne County residents.
Wow.
I know. It's mind-blowing.
That is.
8,300 people are visiting our website on a monthly basis.
Wow.
The information that we're providing, the guidance that we're providing, the coaching that we're providing is I mean, you can't really put a price on it.
No, that's so valuable. I mean, really, it's just, and people, I mean, it's just invaluable to them, right?
Right. And so, getting, being in the community, being accessible, having a live voice that is saying, we understand where you're coming from. Let's take a look at your individual needs, not kind of grouping folks into certain sectors, but I mean, really taking a look.
We talked about that earlier,
Yeah.
bridging Detroit with the suburbs. It's not just a Detroit issue. I mean, it's all over, right? And people have to understand that. So
It is. And with servicing out Wayne County and now servicing Detroit, we're taking like a regional approach to services and building an infrastructure where we can handle the volume. And by taking this regional approach, we're able to keep our administrative costs really low. And that's something that I'm really proud of with our agency. For the last 20 years, and we have an audited track record of somewhere between only 6 to 8 cents on every dollar goes to our functional overhead. So 94 to 96 cents on every dollar that comes through the agency goes to direct client services for people in need.
That's
and
awesome.
we're really proud of that record.
Yeah.
And the vast majority of that funding, over 90%, is federal. So it is your tax dollars.
Okay, so 90% is federally funded.
Oh, yeah, at least.
And the rest is based on donations.
The rest is donations or non-federal funding, maybe some direct funding from the state or from the county. But the vast
private dollars, corporations.
And you're considered what, nonprofit?
We're a private nonprofit 501c3 organization, governed by an independent board of directors. But we take our stewardship of federal dollars extremely, extremely important, and that's been, I think, the main focal point of our service delivery system and also our growth, because I think our stakeholders in the community know, our funders know, that we really value that dollar and we stretch it as far as they can go for people.
Now, you also go into communities and try and build them up too, right? I mean, we were talking about a theater.
Yeah.
I wanted to go into that.
Yeah.
This is something here.
Yeah.
This is a good story.
Yeah, it's a good story. Yeah. Real briefly, the agency is like, multifaceted, and we do multiple programs. So, I talked about basic needs or emergency services. We do a lot of youth programming, such as Head Start. If you're homeless in out Wayne County, you have to enter into the Homeless Services Network through our agency. We do a lot of stability and life skills. We do a lot of tax returns. for people. And then the last thing we do is community and economic development.
Right.
And that's where the theater story comes in.
Yeah.
So I'm a Lincoln Parker. I've been a Lincoln Parker for a long time. And when I was a boy, there was the Park Theater on 4th Street.
Yep.
And I remember
Familiar with it.
And I remember as a boy.
You are?
Yeah. As a boy.
Well, there's a couple stories to it. I mean, it was at first. I mean, my parents are also Lincoln Parkers, and they tell me the story, and my in-laws too. They tell me the stories about going to the show. 10 cents to get in, and nickel for pop and popcorn, and it became blighted, and it became a XXX movie theater. And I just remember driving up and down 4th Street with my parents saying, "What do those XXXs mean? Why aren't there any movies listed?"
Oh, they're movies.
Yeah, they're movies.
So after it became a XXX theater, then it became like an adult novelty store.
Okay.
I was inside of it. I probably should have had a hazmat suit on when I was in there. There's about 30 little Peep Show booths in there, and it was just pretty grimy and pretty sleazy. So anyway, as part of a settlement with the Larry Flint Hustler Club. They wanted to expand that theater, and there was a lawsuit between the Hustler Club and the city of Lincoln Park because they wanted that theater, moved into an industrial park.
Okay.
And in order to get this big Hustler Club, which you can see it off of I-75 and Otter Drive, the exchange was that the city would drop their lawsuit against the Hustler Club, but the Hustler Club had to give the theater to a nonprofit organization.
Oh, okay.
And sure enough, here comes Wayne Metro, and we now own a XXX movie theater. A former XXX movie
Yeah,
theater.
let's try that.
So the question was, what the heck do we do with it?
Right.
And so we're actually converting it into 12 loft apartments for low to moderate income people.
Oh, cool.
And we acquired some adjacent land in the back, and we're building a Royal Oak, and I'll even go as far as to say a Birmingham loft apartment complex for low to moderate income people.
Very popular.
And we're restoring the marquee to its original grandeur with the neon and the little flashy bulbs. The Park Theater is going to come to life again at the end of this summer. And it's going to be converted into 12 loft apartments, and it's going to have residents, and the people are going to walk up and down 4th Street and hopefully help the businesses there.
Awesome. Now, who does that work? Do you have volunteers that do this work, or
it's a large
contracted out?
It's all contracted out. We have in our community development area, we actually have a wholly owned subsidiary called Excellent Construction.
Okay.
And Excellent Construction is part of the development team that's developing this.
Is that spelled XXX?
No. Excellent.
No. What a comedian you are.
No.
Jesus.
But no. But it's our largest, just to give you a scope and size of kind of what we do at the agency. This development is our largest development to date. It's coming in roughly just under $13 million.
Oh, yeah, that's big.
It's basically 2 brand new buildings, even though we're gut rehabbing the theater, infrastructure, roads, sidewalks, lighting, everything.
Yeah, a lot involved.
And that's predominantly funded through the Michigan State Housing Development Authority.
Okay.
And when it's done, there's going to be some jealousy.
Oh, I think so.
Involved in who gets to have the option of living there, because the renderings, where it's at now, although incomplete, I mean, where it's going to be.
Well, you know what? It might give other
phenomenal.
communities incentive, though, to do something, too.
I mean, like,
you know what I'm saying?
The corners, you're going to think you're watching $1 Million New York or something on TV. It's impressive.
Wow.
It is. And it's what I like about it is it shows a lot of the respect that we have for the community, and that even though you might be a little down on your luck, or you might have more of a lower paying job, but that doesn't mean you have to be like a second class citizen.
Right.
And
right.
it's good as
the self-esteem,
Yeah,
it's important.
I would put the quality of this project up against any other loft in Southeast Michigan, and I can defend it.
I'm going to want to check that out.
We'll
take a little ride, Richard.
Yeah, Mia has it set up on a YouTube account, don't you?
Oh, do you?
Go check it out.
I do. Yeah, we've got a
so
really
we can watch
nice
the progression.
walkthrough. Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of like a marketing video, and it's really cool. You want to tell everybody how to?
Well,
get there?
you can view the marketing video if you visit youtube.com and you use the keywords Lincoln Park Lofts. You'll be able to kind of take a virtual tour of what the actual like living units will look like. Actually, what I'm most excited about is that on the front of these units where people will be living are 2 retail units. That have been kind of worked into the plan. So
they'll be refurbished a little bit too? Or?
Absolutely. And there's like 1,200 square feet. There's 2 units of 1,200 square feet. And so right now what we are kind of working on is what are we going to do with those 1,200 square feet? We know that there will be 38 individuals and or families living in these loft apartments. How can we provide them with jobs and training and access to income and our programs? And so thinking along the lines of, how do we use this retail space to create economic development in the city of Lincoln Park? We're talking about pop-ups. We're talking about incubating businesses. We're talking about micro-business loans. We're talking about helping small businesses to actually test their business model in these 2 retail units, and then maybe providing some small business loans and filling up those vacant buildings on Fort Street with these really cool new business ideas.
Awesome.
Absolutely. So, not only is it a housing development, but there are supportive services that will go along with, there are jobs, and then business development. So, when you think about what a real and true and exceptional, best-in-class economic development project looks like, it not only addresses the housing issue, but it addresses jobs, it addresses things like business development. It brings about community and civic pride. I mean, there are a lot of storefronts that have been boarded up there for a long time. What if we could fill those boarded up storefronts with new prospering businesses?
That'd be great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really cool. Richard?
Yeah, and this isn't pipe dream stuff.
No,
there's a record of progress. There's a record of achievement.
Yeah, you guys have a track record, there's no doubt.
And I jotted down a few notes, and I'm glad that we talked about renovation and rehab because in addition to that, there's houses that are scattered in various neighborhoods that have also had the benefit of being, that darn house on the block turning into, wow, look at that house on the block, where a family will move into it. And I also put down here the old teach to fish thing because the agency has just a wonderful track record of providing emergency assistance when needed, as Lewis mentioned, and then as Mia says, also getting the person to where they need to be through various means. Yeah. And that's not just the handout. It's actually a program and a process.
No, and that's a great point that the commissioner is making. If you receive any type of emergency utility assistance from us, in order to get that assistance, you have to take an energy education class.
Okay.
Because what we don't want is we don't want to keep seeing the same people every year, because how does that create self-sufficiency?
You don't want to make it a way of life.
That's right.
Just like welfare, right?
Right. You want to teach people skills.
Eventually, yeah.
And it's the whole fish programs. We talk about having that we're based. We actually talk about that. We use that word internally. Is it a fish program? Does this program teach people to fish and to maintain self-sufficiency?
Yeah. All right. So how do people get involved? I mean, volunteers, donations. How do you get involved with the agency? What can our listeners do if they're out there listening?
What has happened in the last year is that we have created a central point of entry for all Wayne County residents to enter into the Wayne Metro, what we're calling program delivery model. The idea, most clients who come to us, we understand they are in a state of crisis. They're in, sometimes they're being evicted from their home. Sometimes their utilities are being shut off, and we understand that.
Yeah.
They're in critical need.
Right.
We work to address those initial critical needs first.
Mm-hmm.
How they get a hold of us is through our call center. This call center is live. They will hear and talk to a live voice 8:30 to 5 Monday through Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We've got 10 full-time staff. We've got 36 lines coming into that call center. And they will call 734-284-6999. What will happen there is we'll kind of assess, where are you guys at? Is housing your issue? Is utilities your issue? Is food your issue? Is daycare your issue? What's going on with you? At that point, we'll refer them to the appropriate program. Once we kind of address that crisis situation, the idea is to move them into the next kind of level of how can we address those underlying needs? Are you employed? Are you not budgeting right? What is going on that are kind of these core issues that will continue kind of the cycle of poverty? So again, it's 734-284-6999.
Okay. So you do a pretty thorough background check to make sure these people truly are deserving.
There are some there are some very stringent both federal, state guidelines, and we have to follow those to a T.
So a person comes to you for utility help on their bills. They need their utility paid. From start to finish, how long would you say that process is before you're actually paying their bills?
It's about 2 weeks.
2 weeks turnaround? That's pretty good.
But we have a relationship with DTE that we have access to DTE
I was just going to ask you that.
So once they're in the system and we know they're eligible, we can actually place a hold on their account until we can continue to process their paperwork and get a check cut to DTE.
So yeah, you have a working relationship with them.
We have a long-standing relationship with DTE, and DTE Foundation and DTE Energy have been a really good partner of ours. As Mia stated, the requirements are extremely stringent. And as Mia talks a little bit more about the website and technology, there is just a lot of stuff. If you come in, it can be like overwhelming, the stuff that you have to bring in to ensure that you qualify for a federal dollar. Because if you don't qualify, if we give out $1 and you're not eligible, we have to pay that back, and it's called a questioned or a disallowed cost. And it kind of like goes against your record.
Kind of makes you look a little bad there.
It looks bad. It looks bad that we're giving out federal funds to people that aren't eligible.
Right, exactly.
And so not only do
so you got to cover your butt too.
Yeah,
and let's face it.
Yeah, and we're pretty strict, but our people are really trained in a compassionate way to make sure that we ask the right questions and make sure we get the right information so people are eligible. So not only do we have a really good indirect cost rate, we have really good audits, but we have not had a history at all at Wayne Metro of any questions or disallowed costs of any kind. And I'll turn it back over to Mia because, Mia and her team have done a great job in terms of developing a system through everyone having a smartphone as to like what to bring. So it's really cut down like 50% on the amount of cancellations that we have for services.
Well, you're in development and communication, so I mean, technology is awesome, isn't it?
I mean, that's my specialty. When you think about human beings, life happens, right?
Yeah.
And so, we understand, we appreciate, and we empathize, single moms, working families, the transit system.
Yeah, it's tough to make ends meet.
It makes it very, very difficult to kind of navigate this very complex system. And so what we've done is we've kind of implemented and used technology to kind of further our reach and further and kind of scale our efforts. So not only with the call center, you can go on our website, you can request some services, someone will get back to you within 24 hours. We've done a bunch of
good.
Yeah, I mean, we've done a bunch of like automated reminder calls, like here's your appointment day. Here's what you need to bring with you.
Yeah, because that's the worst thing, waiting for a call back. I hate that.
Absolutely.
If I get an email, I try and answer that email right then and there, as soon as possible. And customer service.
Absolutely. And, because you are in the moderate to low income bracket, that does not make you any less of an individual or any less of a citizen, of a member of our community. Lewis always says, we are in charge of taking care of our most vulnerable citizens, and we are only as strong as our most vulnerable citizens. And so when you think about creating access, when you think about creating systems that will create the greatest or maximize our efficiency, maximize the public dollars, and make it easy for people to access the services.
User friendly.
Absolutely.
That is big.
That is absolutely what we're doing and working toward every single day.
I went on your website, and I think it's a great website. It's pretty user friendly, pretty easy to get around, maneuver. That's big too.
Yeah.
Because people just get so lost.
Yeah, and I have to give props to Mia on that. That was Mia's design, and that
Very
website's less than a year old. So Mia's just done an excellent job for the agency in terms of really boosting our technology and communications and making sure that website not only gets the information out, but it works for clients and people that want to access services from it.
Now let me ask you another question. What about veterans? Are you involved? I mean, we're big on veterans here. Huge.
Well, we all are.
I'm a veteran myself, and we try and do whatever we can for them.
We owe them so much.
But they're so proud. That's the thing, like with this, and we've talked about this, these events that we have, they're just so proud. These veterans don't want to ask for the help, and it's their benefits. They deserve it.
When I tell folks my history with a veteran, my grandfather was a survivor of the Bataan Death March in the Philippines. He marched for 8 days.
Yeah.
He came back home. He was 88 pounds.
Wow.
Served the U.S. military, and he has a legacy of, I think, 9 children and probably 30 plus grandchildren. And so when I think about what my work does every day, veterans are what keeps our country strong and protected, and so we have to take care of them. No doubt about it.
Right.
We have a program called we have an acronym called SSVF. It's the Supportive Services for Veterans Families.
Okay.
And why this is so important is there are many programs available out there for single veterans. Right? They come home, and single men, single families. What we have taken on is how do we serve a veteran who has come home, male, female, and they have a couple kids and they have a spouse.
Right.
There aren't a lot of programs out there that address their needs, from housing to schooling, to food, to just kind of basic needs. And so Wayne Metro made the decision, very deliberate decision, to focus on veteran families and their needs. So we have a program called Supportive Services for Veterans Families. We serve all of Outwayne County. We're the lead organization in the Homeless Coalition in Outwayne County. If you have any questions, if you think we can help you, again, 734-284-6999.
I wonder if Troy knows about them. Would Troy know about them, and maybe would they be interested in the VCAT or no? Or is that?
I'm not aware of, any interaction. But, part of what this show does is to provide connectivity. So we'll search that out.
Yeah, we'll research that. That would be interesting. Troy Sheeline is the director of Wayne County Veterans Services.
Yes,
Do you know Troy Sheeline?
Yes,
He's been on the show several times.
Yeah, Troy is our main contact at the county for Veterans Services
Okay.
with our SSVF program.
There you go.
When you say Troy, I needed to hear the last
Yeah,
name.
Troy
They're connected.
Sheeline, yeah.
Yes, we are definitely connected. I get
cool.
emails daily from Troy.
Yeah. Okay, so you're on that list too.
We are.
So do we.
so you know.
We
yes.
get them, don't we?
All right. Yeah. I get them too. So
like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yes,
even.
sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Troy is very active.
He is very active. He's actually in training all this week. So.
Is that why the emails are down?
Yeah, that's why they're down. Yeah.
You ever been getting a lot of emails?
Yeah. So, anything else we want to cover that we've missed? What about contact information? You mentioned that, the phone number, the website. You want to mention the website?
The website is waynemetro.org. If we've inspired you with any of our programs and you'd like to donate, I'm here. I have a mic, so I have to advocate for donations for our agency, there's a spot where you can donate on our website.
Okay. Stop there for a moment. So I wouldn't want folks to have, completed listening to what you have to say and think, well, what do these folks spend? $100,000 or $200,000.
Oh, no.
What is your budget?
Yeah. I was going to ask, but I didn't
okay.
know.
Okay.
We're in the nonprofit world, we're a large nonprofit.
Right.
Yeah.
Our operational budget this year will somewhere hit between $40 and $41 million.
Right. Big time.
Yeah.
So that's just a little budget.
$40 to $41 million.
He said sarcastically.
And our team of people at the agency right now, we have 354 budgeted positions. We're at about 320 right now.
So this is no little agency. This
it's
huge.
not. No, we've had, in our culture, just real briefly, when I started at the agency in 1994, I've been there 20 years, and when I started, the prior agency was closed down due to misappropriation of funds.
Ooh.
There was an FBI investigation, and
we've heard of that before.
And it was shut down. And when the agency reopened, I came from neighborhood service organization in Detroit, as actually in the finance department, and a cultural objective was never again, that we weren't going to embarrass ourselves or the community, and we were going to be good stewards of the dollar and treat people with dignity and respect. So we've been doing that for the last 20 years. We started off with a budget of maybe just under $1 million, and 20 years later, we're eclipsing $40 million. So we have a track record of success, and we do a really good work. We're probably the best kept secret in Wayne County, and that's because
absolutely, because
and I think that's
I haven't heard of you other than what Richard's told me, and I'm glad you've come on.
I appreciate it, and that's because we keep our head down, and we do the work, and self-promotion is secondary to client services.
So the money's there.
It's there. The money is there, and we work hard to go after it. I mean, Mia and her team work really hard to go after it, and
But you want to spend it too. You want to help these folks out.
We do.
I mean, that's what it's there for, right?
Pretty much. I mean, and if we have, and I want to, and that's a great point that the commissioner made. If we have $40 million coming in, then there's $40 million going out.
Okay.
We're not holding anything back. I mean, we have a decent rainy day fund, but the objective is to recycle that money back into the community and make investments for the long-term benefits of the communities in which we serve.
So any idea how many folks you possibly helped out? I mean, it's just, or money-wise or dollar-wise?
What I can tell you is that since we have instituted our call center and started collecting this data, from June 1st to April 30th, we have had 53,000 calls across Wayne County. The numbers are staggering, and sometimes we sit back and we're like, how do you serve 53,000 people in a high quality manner? And we just kind of sit back and look at what our mission is, and that's to serve low income people and build communities. When I think about the children in our communities, when I think about the seniors in our communities, when I think about the opportunity, the Metro Detroit area has taken a lot of hits, right?
Yep.
There are companies that are coming in. I mean, we've got the Dan Gilberts of the world, right? We've got J.P. Morgan Chase, who have said, I'm going to invest $100 million in this city. And we are one of the organizations who have been asked to come to the table and provide input on how to spend this $100 million. There is a buzz, there is a movement. This area, I mean, the country realizes what a staple the Metro Detroit area is to the success of the overall success of our country. And so, to be a player, to be invited to that table, the numbers are staggering, but at the same time, the opportunity and the recognition of what Metro Detroit means to our country, to our state, it feels really, really good. It feels really, really positive.
So it seems like now is the time to invest in Detroit.
Absolutely.
I would agree.
In all the communities, really. Now is the time. Any further comments, Richard? Close us out?
I just wanted to bring out that budgetary mention and point because there are a lot of partnerships involved in this entire process.
Oh, right, yeah.
You're not going to get key players to invest, to promote, to assist with an organization that is suspect in any fashion. They would not need that headache.
And you list a few of them on the website too. I saw that list.
Yeah,
Pretty impressive.
And invitations from folks like the Bedrock and other affiliates under Dan Gilbert. That's important stuff.
Oh yeah, big
and
time.
So they want success. They want to be able to point to it and share accolades as well. So really the point is that there's a need. There's an organization that helps to fill these needs, and beyond the immediate sense, some of the success stories that are shared on an annual basis in October, for example, they tug at your heart.
Oh,
and you know that when it's done, you have people that may have broken a cycle, you have families that became stronger and independent, and you have economies that improve because of all of that. So it's
awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
You guys are doing great work.
Well, thanks. We appreciate it. We appreciate being on. I appreciate the invitation
of
Commissioner LeBlanc. I've known Commissioner LeBlanc for a number of years, and just really felt that we hit it off the first couple times that we had met. Mm-hmm. And I said right away, this is a guy that gets it, and he's a really great public servant, and his district is really lucky to have him. And I'm not just sucking up because he's a board member. I really mean it.
Well, I've told him that too, believe me.
But no, he really gets it.
We are.
We're
very
kind and generous.
We're very lucky, yeah.
No, but he really gets it.
And he does get it.
And he's part of a very respectful and a very supportive board of directors that allows the agency and all of its team members to do what we need to do on a daily basis to serve. Mm-hmm. And he's really been an asset to our board of directors, and I just want to thank him for having Mia and I on tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you,
pleasure.
Richard. Thanks for having them on tonight.
On Carrie's show tonight. You're welcome.
Yours too, my friend.
And Carrie, thank you.
Oh, absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
You have a beautiful home and a beautiful wife.
Well, thank you very much.
And then
you guys are great.
One last plug.
Yes.
Go ahead, absolutely.
If you would like to donate, if you would like to volunteer, if you would like to sign up.
You must read my mind. It's
got
to be the technology.
Metro event, whether it be our community baby shower, our walk for warmth, you want to go into a Head Start classroom and make a difference in a low-income child's life, go to waynemetro.org and hit that donate button, and we'll give you a long list of potential ways that you can donate. If you don't have the monetary ability to do that, there's a long list of volunteer opportunities where you can come into the organization. And those volunteer dollars, those volunteer hours translate into dollars.
Yeah.
And so when we go and we apply for grants, and these are multi-million-dollar grants we're applying for, every single hour that an individual gives of their time counts toward a federal match, let's say. So those hours in some cases are much more valuable than that dollar donation. So I encourage everyone to, whether it's Wayne Metro or your local church or your local school system, find a way to get involved, because that's really the only way that we are going to move our region forward.
Yeah.
And
we all got to work together.
Back.
Come on, let's
bring
face
it back to where it needs to be.
Like you said, you got to bridge all the communities, and Detroit included, right?
Yep. And can I say hi to Benny, Mateo, and Lucas, who are listening, my sons?
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Hello. Yeah, so like I said, a lot of people will download this later on and listen and hope that, you benefit from it. And, you guys are welcome back anytime. Okay. You don't need an invitation. Just say, hey, I want to come on. Right, Richard?
Right.
And you did a great job. I appreciate it. And am I missing anything?
Nope.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Garden City.
Take care. All right. Good job. Excellent. Okay. Let's move on here. Richard, I think you're up next.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're going to, let's see where I'm at. Yeah, I think we're going to Thanks, guys. Take care.
So I think I'll begin with the thing that occurred most recently, and that is today.
Okay.
The commission assembled today at 10 o'clock. We received from the executive and his team a document that was slightly more than 200 pages that involved potential options involving the jail.
Oh.
There was no recommendation as to how to proceed, and what the executive team shared was that they wished to give us all of the information that they had assembled. They would ask that we deliberate for as long as could be necessary. At some point, they will come forward with a recommendation, but that will occur only after the commission has made a couple of policy decisions. Amongst those policy decisions involve litigation with contractors that had a part in the jail project.
Right.
So there's a lot to the story. Some of it may not be for public consumption. It may occur behind closed doors for legal reasons.
Now, some of the contractors that have been involved with the jail been left high and dry. They have not been paid. Is this true?
I'm not aware of any of those.
Okay.
The debt has been satisfied.
Oh, okay.
Involving everything that has occurred to date.
Okay.
The folks that have been left high and dry are us taxpayers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The businesses,
when it
the
comes right down
residents
to it,
of Wayne County.
Yeah.
So it was reaffirmed again today, the approximate amount of money that has been spent on the unfinished jail project is about $160 million. And the options involve whether to continue that project to its completion in some fashion, whether to abandon that project entirely, move the jail and a court and a sheriff administration office to the existing Mound Road prison site with a lot of rehab and renovation that would need to occur. The third option is whether to renovate to a degree the existing Division I and Division II jails downtown that are in pretty poor shape.
Pretty poor, yeah.
The fourth option
okay, go ahead.
wasn't mentioned, but in reality is it's to do nothing.
Yeah, and just stick us with it.
And I won't speculate as to what will happen because I think that
you were leaning towards the Macomb County, though, at
No.
one time, weren't you?
no.
What were you leaning towards?
My preference, given everything that happened before I got there, would be to emphasize renovating the existing Division I and II jails if it is feasible. But look, as a commissioner, I don't have access to all of the information that would suggest if that's feasible or not. And I have not read the 200-plus page document that was provided to us at 9:59 this morning.
Oh, okay.
So,
wasn't Gilbert interested in that property at one time, too?
Mr. Gilbert's company is interested in purchasing Division I, Division II, Frank Murphy Hall of Justice, the existing incomplete jail site, and one other, I'm trying to remember what it is, 5 properties. The difficulty with that, just to be very forthright, is that if any one of those components that are really tie-barred geographically, if any one of those components is sold, then somewhere else you have to build it all because you can't have a criminal court any distance at all from a jail for transportation reasons.
Right.
In fact, it was acknowledged today that if the jail were located at the Mound Road site and the court were to stay where it is, in 1 month, the transportation costs would eat up the entire budget.
Yeah, it'd be phenomenal.
So, really, I mean, this is my opinion. Either everything moves out to Mound Road at a cost of several hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't agree with that either.
Or you complete the incomplete jail site that's, been underway for a while, or you rehab. It really is. I mean, everything has to remain intact. So until
If
we answer the
feasible.
legal questions, and we're going to be meeting
Yeah,
in closed
that's
session next
important.
week, until we answer those questions and give a directive or direction for the county to proceed, I don't know that we can answer where we're going to be located yet.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just too many questions in that. yet.
There are. At the bottom line, though, is I don't give a darn what any one or two people might allege regarding the jail project.
Mm-hmm.
We have lost considerable money as taxpayers.
Oh my God.
There is
Phenomenal.
not a way. There's not a way to recoup a lot of money.
Yeah.
And another thing to say for certain is that while the initial proposed cost to build a new jail was $200 million, give or take a few,
Yeah.
that will never happen.
Not now.
So it is
It's a problem. It's an issue. Let's put it that
Yeah.
way.
And-
Definitely. You guys' work's cut out for you.
yes. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and speculate, and I'll say that at least one candidate for county exec has asked that no decision regarding the jail be
Till after
made
the election.
until after the August election, because realistically, that will determine who will advance in November
Right.
for all practical purposes. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to be disrespectful, but that's the way it is.
No, absolutely. I agree.
And not because of that request, but because of logistics, I'm going to suggest it will be difficult for us to arrive at a decision within the next 6 to 7 weeks. I just don't think that that's practical.
No.
So that's the biggest and latest news. You'd also
Plus, you need time to go over the 200 plus pages, right? And really absorb it.
Well, yeah, we have homework.
Yeah.
And I suspect that most, if not all of us, will take the time between now and next Thursday to get it all
Hit
figured
the
out.
books. Yeah.
So, I know I'm going to do that.
Right.
So you also had mentioned the deficit elimination plan,
Yeah.
the amount of money from the treasurer involving the delinquent tax revolving fund. So what I can report with certainty today is that the amount of money within the current fiscal year that will be transferred from that line item in the treasurer budget to the bottom line in the county budget will be about $150 million.
This is that extra money I was talking about.
It is.
That you found.
However,
But that'll go
in a very real sense, $81 million was already budgeted.
Okay.
So if you take 150 and you subtract 81,
Yeah.
what you have is $79 million. Do I have that right? $69 million.
Yeah. Right. That's what I said at first, but then
That-
you said it was 100 and
It has increased to 150, whereas originally there was no agreement for the 81.
okay.
There is now full agreement for 150. When it's all said and done, what will happen is this, that there will be a point in time for about a minute on September 30th when the budget is concluding, where the county will have paid down its accumulated deficit to about $99 million from 180-ish, which is pretty impressive.
That is.
But it wasn't because of any extra work that we as a commission did.
Yeah.
I'm not misleading anybody. This was because of a money transfer.
Yeah.
We will
Yeah, it
still
just happened to
be
work out.
in a structural deficit spend situation. The prosecuting attorney office, the sheriff office, primarily those two offices. But there are a couple of others, much less amount. But primarily those two offices are overspending combined at about the mid $30 million range. So we still have a structural deficit that we must attack, because if not, in little more than 2 years, we will be back to exactly where we are
God,
today.
let's hope not.
So there is work that's being done on that. There were some very pointed questions that were delivered or offered by me and by others last week regarding all of this. Mm-hmm. And I said last week, didn't I? Actually, it was 2 days ago. The time just kind of melts together. It was Tuesday.
Right.
As to the budget, what it's going to look like, and how we're going to address that. The problem is that it's been acknowledged publicly by the budget director that there is an election, and there's other things that are going on. We should not expect to see the budget until sometime mid to late July. Now, the state of Michigan will have its budget done maybe tonight, and certainly before the county of Wayne will. We don't even have our budget yet. So we can't begin the deliberative process of negotiating, of questioning, of responding until we get the budget. They don't even have it done yet.
Realistically, though, do you see much movement on anything until after August 5th? Come on, let's be realistic.
I think the commission is interested in that. Yes, I do. I
really
do think that. I do.
Okay.
But if you're asking, do I think that we'll have all the tools in the box and be able to do that? The answer is no.
No.
We're not. Mm. So.
And how do you like what's going on in Lansing, for God's sake? Oh, my God.
Well,
David texted me today and said that he's probably going to be there till midnight voting.
Well, that's typical for this time of the year.
Yeah, well, plus the gas tax, they want to push that through if they could. But
well, I have to go on record as saying I'm pleased that the Senate has turned down.
Oh, absolutely.
Nearly, if not every, proposal thus far.
Yeah.
There are sufficient funds that have been identified by the House. The Senate could easily agree with that and say, let's just do that and be done. Yeah. I had a telephone conversation earlier today with Senator Anderson, and I urged him to remember that whatever might be negotiated on behalf of the Senate Democrats, just please remember that just because the Senate would say, okay, now we've agreed to what we're going to do, it doesn't mean that the House is going to agree with that proposal. In fact, there are many more contested Republican primary election folks involved in that process in the House than there are in the Senate.
Yep.
When it's all done, I think we all want the same thing. We want better roads. We want fairness in how they're paid for.
Yep.
We don't want to be the number one gas tax state in the country.
No. And we're already over that.
We're already number 6.
Yeah.
We don't want to be number 1. We're number 6, and look at these roads.
I know. It's atrocious.
So we're number 6, and California is number 1. One of the proposals that was voted down yesterday would have made us number 1.
Yep.
That's nuts.
That's insane. Insane.
So, the
1% sales tax I could have lived with. I could have supported that. But I won't support being number 1 in gas tax. No way. No way.
Well, I think it's been sliced and diced and massaged.
I know, and they're still massaging it.
Whether there's more to come up with later, who knows?
Or
whether they'll continue to vote on what they have. But, yeah, right now it's in their hands. You heard Senator Anderson mention on the show last week that there could be a poison pill, so to speak. The Senate could adopt something and then say, well, but we'll also allow the electorate a chance to vote on something to wipe that out.
Yeah.
That's a double negative, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And
you think the voters will see anything out of this? I mean, to where they'll have a say? I mean.
Yeah, I don't know. That could change in literally. It
could
change in an instant.
Yeah.
It really could.
Right.
So, look, we send folks to Lansing. We have folks on our local city councils and school boards. I'm in favor of allowing our elected trustees to make these decisions. If you don't like them, vote them out the next time.
Right. Oh, I'm sure they're hearing from their constituents, believe me.
Yeah.
Believe me.
But I don't believe in sending everything to the electorate unless it involves a constitutional change. The sales tax would be a constitutional change.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
So that would definitely need to come before the electorate.
Yeah.
And you and I are on different pages on that. I
Really?
will never support that.
Really?
For a lot of reasons.
Mike.
The biggest reason is that I view it as being very regressive. And we just got done talking about the middle class has been stretched thinner.
Yeah.
And the ends of it have become bigger. More poverty, more wealth. And a sales tax increase will hit those that are on the lesser end of the pay scale far harder than it will other parts of our population.
Yeah.
And we all need to buy fuel. I mean, everybody buys fuel, whether it's for the bus that you ride to work or whether it's the car you drive.
Yeah, but if you go over 71 cents a gallon and become the number one tax state in the nation, what is that going to do to everything else, though? It just trickles down.
I think we need to go back and look
Tourism.
at what we've talked about in the past. We have a rainy day fund. I am not in favor of spending it in its entirety on roads, but it exists. And that came through extra taxation.
Well, then let's let loose with some of it.
I think that there are alternatives that can be explored and combined with other things that need to be a part of the proposal. Truck weights,
the Republicans
lifetime
voted
license
that down.
plates.
Did you see that?
But there are a number of things that need to be addressed, and if they're not, then tell the folks who are in charge of government, then you decide what it is you want and vote for it.
Yeah.
And then the electorate can have at it at the ballot box.
Well,
It's a very complex issue, and it is political, whether people like it or not.
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt.
But I wouldn't want to take our sights away from the fact we are already number 6 in the entire nation.
Yep.
In terms of high gasoline tax.
Mismanagement, my friend.
We pay the 6th highest in this country, and our roads are garbage, generally.
What's Ohio? Do you know what they are, roughly?
Ohio,
are they ahead or behind us?
Ohio is in a better position than us. Indiana and Illinois are comparable to us, but they're still better.
But look at their roads.
But, Ohio, for those who live close, they may cross the border to buy fuel. Who knows?
Yeah,
but
that's true.
But the fact is, I have no interest in being at the top of that heap.
No, I agree. Me neither. Not at all.
Gas right now, there's a conflict in Iraq. So oil went up 2% today. Gas is $4.
That's insane.
$4.
That's insane. There's going to be a lot of staycations, my friend, this year.
It is going to have a very solemn and negative effect on our economy very quickly.
Deliveries, everything. I mean, you can see everything go up.
Dozen eggs, $2.99 at the store today.
Yeah, milk, all that. I mean, it's insane.
It is. I bought a bag of chips the other day. I didn't even notice it till I got home. But I paid $3.99, I guess it was, for a 9-ounce bag of chips.
Oh my
9
God!
Ounce.
Made in Michigan?
Well, they're
Better
Lay's. They're Lay's.
Oh my gosh! I know it's
all right. I'm off the
sad.
horse.
It's sad. Is that it?
That's it for today.
All right. Well, hey, get your pencils ready and mark these upcoming shows down on your calendar. We have a pretty busy schedule. I was busy today scheduling these folks. So next week, anyway, we're going to have June 19th. Buddy Shue's going to be here with his wife Shelby. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh.
I know you are.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be talking about something very near and dear to them, the Tears Foundation. And also, he is used to be a contestant on The Biggest Loser, season 13. So if that name sounds familiar, he was on there with his brother Ben. Also, June 26th, the president and founder of Providing for Paws, Joanne Dixon, will be here. Providing for Paws the primary goal is to provide community outreach to keep the pets in the home. But every now and then they have to go out and rescue some animals. So we'll see how we can be of help to them any way we can. And then on July 3rd, I'm just waiting for confirmation from his office on this, and I told you this earlier. Congressman John Conyers would like to come on the show. So
nice.
We'll see how that goes if they confirm that.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be something. And then on July 10th, a friend of the show and also on Talk Shoe with the old time rock and roll will be Mr. Lee Douglas will be calling in. He has something like 632 shows under his belt on Talk Shoe, over 1 million listeners.
No way.
Yeah, this guy has been.
Maybe you could share a tip or two.
He's been turning records.
You know
for
what?
A long time.
I'll bet he's never had the future dean of Congress on his show.
No, I bet he hasn't. That's for sure.
So think about that.
Absolutely. He just spins a lot of records, this guy, but he's pretty opinionated.
All right.
So he'll be a good one to have on.
I'll get some of my good Howard Stern stuff ready for him.
I think he's an ex-teacher, if I'm not mistaken. He likes talking about that. Then on July 17th, Westland Mayor and County Executive candidate William Weil will be here in studio. and we'll see how his campaign is going. On July 24th, Dearborn Heights Councilwoman and State Representative candidate for the 11th District, Lisa Hicks Clayton, will be here, and she wants to talk about community engagement in her campaign. And then finally, on July 31st, another state representative candidate for the 11th District, Miss Julie Plawicki, will be here, and she'll also talk about her campaign and how it's going as well. So, wow. Got a full schedule, man. Full schedule coming up.
It's good.
Yep, love it. All right, we got a lot to look forward to, so we hope that you'll be a part of it as well. Richard, you're done with your update. The next Garden City Council meeting will be Monday, June 30th, 7 p.m. I think they're doing some budget meetings or something, I think, in between that. Located at 6000 Middle Belt Road. City Hall is there. Garden City Garden Club, their walk, don't forget, is on June 21st, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Tickets are $8 or 2 for $15, and they are on